Alright, so today we've got our first patch video in a very long time. It feels sort of weird to be doing one of these. Anyways, tomorrow, as you've probably heard by now, is going to be a pretty content-packed day. Not only are we getting the event that's been in the works for a while, we're also receiving a title update which includes changes to something I never thought we'd see, targeting. And also, surprisingly, two of the heroes that we tested back during the testing grounds just a month and a few weeks ago are pretty much being pushed through. Now, before we begin, if you do watch these videos somewhat regularly, I'd really appreciate it if you sub to the channel, as it really helps me out. And also, feel free to follow me over on Twitch, as I stream over there pretty much every day now. Now let's not waste any more time and get right into it. Alright, so let's start things off with the targeting changes. This has been something I've wanted to see for years. I'm glad that something is finally being done with targeting, and hopefully tomorrow when we, get to play with it, it all feels good. Anyways, you all know how targeting works, and there will be plenty of times when you want to lock onto someone further out in a team fight, but cannot lock onto them, and you'll be stuck switching between targets that you don't want to attack at that moment. So with this change, you'll basically be able to switch between all 3 or 4 opponents in a fight at any given time. I'll throw the example videos up that they left for us. You can only cycle through, visible targets, and cycling is time sensitive. You have 250 milliseconds after releasing the lock-on button to press it again to engage the cycle. If you switch targets past the 250 millisecond rule, you will return to the main rule, which is switching to the target, closest to you. As I said, we'll have to get our hands on it first to see how it feels, but honestly, I'm sure it'll be fine. Just being able to switch to that third target that's 2 HP rolling away from you will be more than enough for me. It feels so much better than switching to the near full health opponent that's right behind you when you could have easily caught up with the guy getting away. I'm really glad to see that this is making its way into the game. Moving on to the testing grounds changes making their way to the game. So Nobushi and Peacekeeper's changes are the ones that are being put into the live game, which is pretty shocking to me as we just had these testing grounds literally a month and a few weeks ago, and we usually don't see changes from the testing grounds make their way into the live game this quickly. This is because for these two heroes, it seemed as though everyone liked the changes and were ready for them to be implemented, so rather than waiting around, Yubi just threw them into the game. Now, the Warden and Shugoki changes are still in the shop being worked on. Yubi left a little statement saying that we haven't forgotten about Warden and Shugoki. Taking your much valued feedback into consideration, you can expect Warden to be next in line. Regarding Shugoki, the fight team is going to tinker with him a little longer. You can expect us to be coming back to you with more details regarding these two and the future of testing grounds. I'll talk about that statement a little more towards the end of the video, but for now let me address the PK and Nobu stuff. So for Nobu, all the changes went through. For those of you who weren't around for the testing grounds, I won't go through every change, but I'll give you a quick rundown. Her hidden stance costs less stamina, heavy finishers and heavy attacks from hidden stance became undodgeable. The second part of the zone attack soft feints into kick, heavy finisher, or dodge, with the first part of the zone only costing 20 stamina. Also, the Cobra Strike and Sidewinder chain into heavy finishers. That's pretty much all we know. Then they left a little extra saying that many players noted that the kick mix-up wasn't working well enough due to how reactable the kick was, so make an additional edit to the kick to make it less reactable. Not sure what that change is just yet, but we should find out tomorrow. We all sort of figured that pretty much all of the Nobu changes would make it through, and here we are. As for Peacekeeper, pretty much the same thing. All the changes from the testing grounds are going through as they were universally enjoyed. However, many of us noted that, the damage was just a little too high, so they plan on bringing that down a bit. Another note they left says many players noted that the dagger cancel is meant to start or continue pressure with a bleed application, but because of how it is frame disadvantaged, it is failing in this goal. We'll be adjusting this to ensure dagger cancel is frame advantaged when it lands. I'm actually looking forward to seeing how this feels, as Peacekeeper is a hero I've always wanted to play since she has some of my favorite finishers in the game, and now I'll have a reason to buy them. A quick rundown on her testing grounds changes for those of you who weren't around or need a quick recap. When Peacekeeper was locked onto a bleeding target, her heavy finishers and the second part of her zone became unblockable. Dagger Cancel could have its recovery cancelled with a dodge. The zone attack is now enhanced and gives a heavy parry, and the second hit of the zone can now be soft feinted into either a guard break or a dodge. Lastly, the deflect is now performed with a heavy attack instead of a light attack. Yubi's last note on these two heroes reads, "Nobushi and Peacekeeper being released so quickly after the testing grounds is an unusual situation. We expected most everyone to be mostly on board with the changes on these two heroes, and so in this case, we fast-tracked them. In the future, it is our goal to aim our releases for the season after testing grounds to allow us more time to better process your feedback and decide how to act on it." And trust me, a season is nothing compared to the wait that we had for the Centurion changes. I wonder what else they have planned to go through the testing grounds to speak on it in this way. Hopefully there's a lot more to come, but time will tell. As for Warden and Shugoki, their changes were a bit more, I guess I'll use the word controversial. It sounds like they're figuring out what to do with Warden, but Shugoki is still being worked on. Warden had issues with his changes, and it seems like Yubi is taking our feedback into consideration, so I'm assuming they're definitely going to reduce the damage on those finishers, but I wonder what else they're going to do. As for Shugoki, his changes had some good, like removing the armor on lights and giving him a roll catcher and something to do after dodging, but removing the armor on the hug is more than likely what they've got to figure out. At least that's my guess. It was just too easy to interrupt, and who's going to roll away from a Demon's Embrace if it isn't as threatening anymore, you know? We'll just have to wait and see what they come up with, as I can't see them keeping the armor on Shugoki's Demon's Embrace if the whole 80% thing is really something that bothers a ton of people. Time will tell though. And that's pretty much it when it comes to the title update. I'm looking forward to playing it. As for the event, we still don't know what it's going to be exactly. All we know is that it's going to include the eclipse, and part of, you know, the little lore pieces they've been leaving every day say that an eclipse will bring something bad. I guess we'll find out tomorrow. I was expecting a little more from the title update. I thought that we'd see something happen to Griffin, or maybe single pick would be introduced. That's been my guess since Griffin's been in the game, but oh well. Anyways, that's all I've got for this video. As always, if you like the video, feel free to leave a like and sub if you're new, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.